I just want to appreciate you guys for coming out to our rookie mini camp. Really excited to get this group of players out here. There's a lot of intriguing tryout guys that want to be out here competing to try to earn a spot on our football team. Excited about our draft class and what I think was a really good college free agent signing class as well. Want to thank our support staff. I mean, to put on a camp like this where you're bringing in people from all over the country, in a lot of cases, flying them here, getting them set up at our hotel here on campus, and then making sure we're dialed in to give them the best experience we can while also allowing them to compete to make our team. A lot went into bringing these players out, whether it's the coaches, the scouting department, our personnel, our scouts that are around the country, year-round finding some of these guys. It's fun to watch our entire kind of organization come together for this weekend, and you see a scout taking a look at a player they maybe saw for a game back in the fall, and now they're wearing, a purple helmet as part of, at least for this weekend in a lot of cases, our organization. So once again, just appreciate you guys being here for these guys, and we'll look forward to having another great day tomorrow.
Kevin, when you're talking about pulling in rookie camp guys, from your perspective, how much do you look at this weekend as an indicator of whether this guy can play, or how much of that is the process that you've done scouting-wise before that?
Yeah, you guys know me. I speak from personal experience when I know for a fact you're not always at your best. At rookie minicamp, there's a lot of information being thrown at you, and then you're on the grass. I thought the group, for the most part, handled a lot of that well today. I just challenged them at the end, speaking to the group, that the expectation is we're just a little bit better tomorrow, and that holds true for the rest of their time here once they get in with the vets next week and moving on into OTAs in a week or two here. That'll be the expectation. Constant hunger for improvement. What are you doing on your own time? What are you doing in the meeting room to help you be at your best when you get a chance to showcase what you can do? So I've learned a long time ago not to overvalue things, but I can tell you I was really excited seeing some of our draft class bouncing around the field today and some of the things they're able to do physically, athletically. And then there's a lot to work on, technique and fundamentals, that we get a jump start to really lay a foundation for the season for them.
What was it about Andre Carter that caught your guys' eye that made you want to give him the guaranteed money to bring him here?
Yeah, he was under consideration for us to be drafted, a couple times in the draft, and through the dialogue and really trying to, figure out how we still get him here. We felt like we gained an extra draft pick with him. We really did. And obviously the length, the athleticism, his production. When you watch him on tape, you see a guy that is arrow up, going to ascend, and how good can that be is what we challenge all of our guys here to really do. You're here for a reason. First and foremost, it's an honor to be in an NFL rookie camp, regardless of how you got here. But for a guy like Andre, we're really looking forward to seeing him build. On obviously the career he had at Army, but now he's a professional football player now. He gets to focus in on that as his job and really thrive in that with some great coaching, and he's a great kid. Really excited to have him a part of our team, and looking forward to seeing what he's able to do.
Are you doing anything differently or new with this rookie mini camp than last year, based on just your observations of what you liked?
No, we similar format. We're trying to just make sure we get these guys acclimated to the very basic parts of our offense and defense. I think we have 2 or 3 calls in for today on defense. We might have had 8 concepts in on offense, and we'll build on that tomorrow, because that's a huge part of it, is obviously seeing, great, we taught that yesterday and you got that, that's wonderful, but we move quickly, and you got to be able to come out, go through another install tomorrow morning, and then be right back out here on the grass, not only able to show you've been able to have growth with the things they learned today, but hey, I can also apply those things to the plays we'll put in tomorrow. Everything's kind of put in for a purpose, to see certain type of movements, see certain type of routes, while also understanding we can't take for granted these guys, although they've been training, they've been on the workout circuit, they've been on the visit circuit. Football shape is a completely different thing, so we want to evaluate that as well. And I do think we've got a really good group and expect a good day tomorrow.
Rookie quarterback for the first time in your time as a head coach, how much do you kind of structure yourself so it's more hands-on with a rookie as opposed to a veteran quarterback you might have here?
Yeah, I was picking my spots today. I tend to maybe overdo it sometimes, and I've got some great coaches and want to let those guys really form that initial relationship, that initial bond. But I'll spend a lot of time with Jaron, and I'm a big fan of his. Love the way he came out and commanded a group of guys that are learning a bunch of information for the first time. And, there were some ups, there were some downs, and that's what we expect. And then ultimately, just trying to give him tangible, real things that Monday morning comes around and the vets walk in here and he's throwing alongside Kirk and Nick, that he's got some real tangible things that he can work on every single rep.
Skills-wise, how much does he have to be picked apart a bit, broken down, just from things that you see that probably instantly aren't going to translate to playing QB here, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And how you do that, how you deliver that information, I don't know if at the quarterback position you ever truly want to break them down all the way, but it's watching, evaluating, and then giving them clear-cut coaching points with real tangible ways of fixing those things. And then when they do it right, it's the positive reinforcement of that's exactly how it should look every time. And I think he was, pleasant joy to work with today. I know for Chris and Grant and myself, I'm sure those guys thought I butted my head in there a little bit too much, but they better get used to that.
Kevin, with the schedule rolling out, do you put that in their face and kind of say, now this is in the NFL, you work that in, and what you think of it last week?
No, first and foremost, my message to them today was congratulations on being here. Understand the opportunity that you have. Understand how important it is to me, each and every one of the guys we had sitting in that team meeting room, and that while you're here, regardless how long that's going to be, you're going to get everything we got, not only myself, but our coaching staff and what our resources and building has to offer. As far as the schedule, was really excited about the schedule for a lot of reasons, starting with getting to open up again at US Bank Stadium. Very, very good opponent. One of the best defensive teams in the league. Got so much respect for Todd Bowles and what they do. But to be in front of our fans, again, I think back to that Week 1 opener. I know it was a division game last year. First game and under new GM and head coach, and felt the excitement in that stadium. I definitely expect to feel that again, and we hope to have that same environment. I don't want to say the date yet because I don't know it. Week 1, I'll say. But very much looking forward to it, and think there's a lot of things that Vikings fans should be really excited about within that schedule.
What don't you like?
I really honestly can't give you one example of maybe a preseason thing or two, but other than that, I'm okay with the bye, especially with what games are out in front of those that bye, and then we get the mini bye early after a real tough trip to Philadelphia, and then a pretty grinding stretch there of those 10 games in between, kind of that mini bye and the regular bye. But one thing I know is we're going to take a look at it week by week, day by day, Tyler, myself, and we'll have a great plan to make sure, as always, as you guys know, that 3.5-hour window on Sunday, our goal is our players feel better than our opponents. And that can start in the opener and go all the way through 17-plus games.
Yeah, but have you given any thought to the fact that you're going to be the first Viking coach in a long time to not have to prepare for either Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre?
You know what? I have not given it a lot of thought, but when you phrase the question like that, it is a good part of my day to hear that from you. Have so much respect for both of those players, and I know how, it's very rare in this league to have two players play the dynamic kind of, the hardest position in sports for that long. But I can tell you, we have a lot of respect for Jordan. You just look at what he did when he got in the game last year, and not only the production, the way he moved the team, but how he played. Our full expectation is we're going to be dealing with a heck of an offense from the Green Bay Packers with him running the show.
Coach, when you have a couple non-rookies here like Josh or TJ, what do you kind of tell them about how to approach this weekend and how to take advantage of it?
Yeah, it's a good question because some people may look at it like, oh shoot, I'm putting all this work in normally and now I've got to go to rookie minicamp. Neither of these two guys have that mindset because they know these are reps to work their craft. We don't do team periods here for a reason, to just limit some of the exposure and potential for, an early setback when guys are just getting acclimated. But those O-line and D-linemen, as you guys saw, they get basically an hour and 20-plus minutes of individual work with an NFL position coach, and they know that. And they both have, real tangible things they're working on to try to be at their best when Phase 3 starts here in a week or so, and then obviously when the competition phase starts in training camp.
Kevin, how much did you guys want to bring Ivan Pace
Yeah, he was a major priority for us. Felt like his tape was one of the best linebackers in the draft. We really thought. How he plays, he's physical, he gets off blocks and is a tackling machine. Excited to have him in that room and see a lot of upside for him. And quite honestly, all three of those linebackers that I watched today looked really good. And get with Coach Tarav and Flo and see kind of where they think that group shakes out, joining in with the rest of our veteran guys led by Jordan.
You going back to Andre Carter, he had the 15 sacks or whatever, and then it went down. How do you guys view that? Does it make a difference to you stat-wise, or what was your assessment of why those numbers
I think, Kevin, a lot of times, just like in our league, a dynamic pass rusher can have a ton of production, but what happens? They get circled in the scouting report. So not really diving into it too much, I can just tell you that if we're coaching against a double-digit sack type player, we're going to have a plan for that guy, whether it's chips, whether it's taking the slide to him, matchups when you can, and trying to put him in just less ideal situations than just rushing downhill one-on-one. Don't know for sure if that was always the case. I'm sure there's some things that, looking back on it, he's looking forward to improve, add to his pass rush, kind of move catalog, and he's got one of the best position coaches in the league in Mike Smith to do that. Flo's got a great plan for him, and can't wait to see him get a ton of reps in the preseason.
Cephas Johnson, a guy who was a college quarterback, moving wide receiver, is that kind of a exciting challenge for your coaching staff to figure out what this guy can maybe do at a new position?
Absolutely. I mean, big body, strong. Looked like he was moving really well out there. It's just the nuances of understanding, how Jordan Addison got the body control he does. Yeah, it's a natural ability, but it's thousands and thousands of reps of playing wide receiver. So there's a challenge when you're making a transition, but I always say if you're a former quarterback making a transition to any position, you've got a leg up because of the overall understanding of all 22 guys on the field that you have to have. So our hope is mentally he can pick things up, and then every day working with Keenan and Tony on just the details and the techniques and fundamentals and nuances of how he's going to play. Not necessarily, I'm a big fan of each individual player having an individual plan for what they can do to reach their potential. It's not you're on the Justin Jefferson plan or KJ or Jordan Addison. It's going to be an individual plan. If they are on our roster, I challenge our coaches every single day to make sure they're not only reaching every guy in their position room on an individual level, but then having a plan for how you're going to coach these guys. That's why we have assistant position coaches. So I'm glad you asked that, just because it's an overall general philosophy that I have of development, and Kwesi has. It's very, very important. That's a huge part of it.
When it comes to the players that you're not 100% sure, like Jay Ward or Blackman, where they're going to play, how much can you pick up here that kind of sets the stage for OTAs and minicamps?
Yeah, I don't think you really can, because you got to start somewhere. And hey, we want you to, like I said, some of these guys really are learning whatever they've learned this morning and then came out to the grass and worked on it. Now, if you start to feel like a guy has ownership, at least mentally, of multiple aspects of the defense, that's a really good thing. And I think Flo has already mentioned how quickly he felt some of the guys were picking things up. And like I said, limited volume of defensive calls, but it's exciting to see the versatility in their bodies. And then when that special teams period starts, really start to see just the natural athleticism show up in Hat's drills. He does a great job trying to, lay out drill work that, we can see those things, but also he's looking as hard as anybody to see what type of roles they'll have in that phase as well.
Last few questions. Any team building on the schedule for the weekend besides all the installs and?
Yeah, they're going to do something. They're going to do some kind of an activity tomorrow afternoon when we wrap up. I won't share exactly what that is, but they're going to do an activity together away from campus here. And then those guys will get Sunday to kind of rest, go over some of the things they've learned, and then they'll start right in our last week of phase 2 next week with the full group, which will be really good for them. And it's always one of those things, who sticks out at rookie minicamp. I think the more important thing is who fits in come Monday morning is kind of the way I like to look at it, and they get a head start with these 2 days.
Quick question on Murphy. Is the plan right now to have him be an outside corner, Kevin, to start? And
Byron?
Yeah.
Yeah,
inside in the nickel? Is that the current plan?
I think as he's done in his career, recently in Arizona, you saw him in those base downs play an outside corner position and then seamlessly transition inside to be one of the better nickels, in my opinion, in football. So Byron's off to a great start. Every single day you just get a feel for the type of movement skills he has, the experience he has, in kind of a wide variety of doing different jobs. But at the same time, you can tell he loves football. He's showing some real leadership traits as well. Of just every single day he shows up to this building with a mindset of what he wants to get accomplished alongside his teammates. So really off to a great start. Glad you asked about him.
Last one.
Kevin, just with Jordan Addison, and you get him on the grass for the first time, what types of things are you hoping to get done with him just in these early days here? Is it just a matter of learning the offense, or just getting a feel for his skill set? What do you hope to get out of that?
Yeah, Jordan's actually, he's been meeting over Zoom a little bit, since we drafted him, within the confines of the rules, and you could tell he's a little bit ahead of a lot of the guys out on the field today, where he's lining up, understanding exactly what that play means for what routes he has, and how to go adjust once the picture changes when that ball snapped. But what I was really looking forward to just see is how he was moving, coming in and out of cuts and breaks, and then attacking the football when it was in the air. He's working with Jaron and Logan, for the first time. So a lot to build off of for those guys. But I thought Jordan had a really good day, and just looks and feels the part, which is exactly what I expected out of him. And he's been chomping at the bit to get going.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for being here, guys, for real. It's good to see this big old group out here for the rookies.